posted. What got you there won't get you any further. You know, you get your foot in the door eventually if you do it right. And you had certain skill sets that got you your foot in the door. But that doesn't mean it's complacent time, like you sit back and go, whoa, I've made it, and that's all you have to do. That means that if there are skills within Microsoft Word that you don't know, you need to get them. If you've been avoiding learning basic Excel and you got a job anyway, and then you start to understand that the people around you know more than you do in the areas of software, for instance, PowerPoint, Excel, I'm talking just the basics, you know, and then you find out that it would help you if you learned how to do some advanced skills in PowerPoint or Microsoft Word. You know, I always promote learning advanced skills. Now, do you need to get a certificate in order to impress anybody? Well, here's what I did one time. In one law firm, in order to not just walk the halls going, I know this and I know that, I mean, that would be ridiculous. We were not allowed to put frames, our own artwork or frames up on the wall. And, you know, mar the wall or anything. So I had a certificate for Microsoft Word. This is years ago. And one for English skills. And now I'm not saying you have to get, you know, English skills. But I had earned, there was a company, and it's still in existence. But when they started, and this is, gosh, probably 17 years ago, the company is called Brain Bench. BrainBench. When they started, they had a bunch of free classes, and the ones that I took were all free, but if you wanted a certificate, you paid like, I don't know, $5 or $6 per certificate. The certificates were about, they would fit in a 5x7 frame. So I got the type of frames that you would just stand up on a counter. For English, for Microsoft Word, and for, I got one for managing people, but that wasn't really that usable in the law firm, in that particular law firm. So I had 2 certificates up in a frame. Now, when I wasn't around, or when I came back from lunch or something, I would see the attorneys kind of looking and seeing, what the heck, and they'd say, oh, you got a certificate in Microsoft Word. They noticed, or they would look on the weekends. I know they did. So if you take a class somewhere and they happen to offer a certificate, then if it's feasible to put it on your desk or put it somewhere where you're not attaching it to anything that would hurt the wall, or, you know, then do something like that once you're in the job to show that you have earned that. And they do take notice. You don't have to even talk about it. You know, it might be that you were taking it, you might mention in conversation if you're out eating lunch, or if you're, you know, what have you been doing late? What you do this weekend? Well, I was taking a course in Microsoft Word just to increase my skills. It's good to drop those nuggets. So you never want to stop learning. Never. The minute you become too comfortable in your first job, second job, I don't care which one it is, that can be the death of your job. You have to look at, what can I do to learn more? What can I do to up my game? And then it's okay to drop those nuggets. It doesn't have to be a certificate. It could be, I took a course in Microsoft Word. I'm learning advanced skills in Microsoft Word. I just learned basic Excel, just to, in case we ever need it. It's interesting how life plays out, and how oftentimes all of a sudden they'll go and ask you to do something and rely on you because they heard that you were good at something. Okay, so never sit back and say, okay, now I've made it, now I can just slide, because there'll be somebody else waiting to take your position at any moment. And they'll find somebody that has more of a passion for their job than you do, see? So it really, really will harm you if you don't keep moving forward and be creative that way. Like, can you take an online course that only lasts maybe 90 minutes? That's where it specializes in an area of law that you're currently working in your first job. I found out very quickly that my knowledge of legal terminology was non-existent, and that they speak a different language in the law firm. And I didn't know, what they were talking about regarding names for clients and also documents. So I had to learn quickly. And one of the things I did, which you don't have to do, is I took a legal terminology class. But what I say is go to my website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and look for bar charts, the tab at the top, and look for the legal terminology bar chart. And that's hands down the one I would get. And there are some others listed there, if in certain areas of law that doesn't really have to do with terminology, but you can look at those as well. But the bar charts are very good. The top 20% of employees will be the ones that are moving forward. The rest will be sitting back and going, well, I made it. I'm at the mountain. I'm on the mountaintop. I reached the pinnacle, and now I don't have to do anything else. And that is the worst way to think, because again, there'll be other people coming in to the firm that will really show their stuff, and that's competition. It's not a comparison game. You have to run your race, but understand that they look at the value of, like, what are you bringing to the table? And it's not just for the first job. It's like ongoing, like during that first job. Like, what else can you bring to the table that would benefit the law firm, but it also benefits your career, because that's what you're building. If you are going into this building, it's not really building, but just going through life in a 9-to-5 job, instead of understanding that you're building something of incredible value, then you're making a mistake. Okay? Because the more value you bring, the more flexible of a career you will have, that you can move around to different jobs when you need to, and you will need to. There's no limit on your potential and how far you can go if you have that attitude. I promise you. Okay? It doesn't mean that you have to know how to build a computer. I'm not talking about that. But having a computer make life easier and streamline processes for the law firm, I learned to do that for myself. I learned to put some things in place to de-stress my day. And so that when I would go home at night, I wouldn't be thinking about work. Okay? And it's part of what I teach in the Paralegal Inner Circle class. Be one of the leaders, even if you don't feel like a leader. Just decide that you're going to be one of the leaders and seek out more knowledge consistently, and you will go far. Let me see if I have anything else I wanted to cover. Yeah, the last thing is some of what I mentioned is, if it takes that you need to take a course of some type. One of the places that I have actually taught a class for in the past is a place called, and I mentioned it last week, National Business Institute Seminars. But they have a paralegal division, and you can look up, they'll have classes specializing in certain areas of law. They can't go ultra deep in those classes, because the one I taught was something like 90 minutes long, but it gave them a lot of nuggets, golden nuggets of information to help them in their job, the people that took the class. And it was an online class. It was the first thing I ever taught online, was for that company. But I've attended seminars in person before they went online, in Jacksonville, Florida, in Tallahassee, to learn more about areas I was interested in. One I attended, I discovered I wasn't interested in it. I wanted to find out more about it. So that's one way to do it, but you can also research on Google and find a lot of answers, okay? All right, so that is it for today. I wanted to talk about, don't think you've got your foot in the door. This is, you know, a piece of cake. I don't have to do anything else but learn my job, and then I'm set. No one is indispensable. And the person that rises to the top and keeps learning, keeps doing, you can't do that silently. You have to not just tell your coworkers, but you have to drop nuggets that you're working on something like that, or you just took a class. I did that consistently. Not to be overbearing, but I would just say I took a class in this area of law just to check it out. So that is it. Have a great night. Any questions, comments while I'm live, please ask. Or if you are asking, Facebook isn't showing the comments right now. So if you have any questions whatsoever, just post them on this page, or you can join the Paralegal Break-In free group. You know, it's open to anyone interested in the field who has not worked in the field in any capacity. This is for total beginners, Paralegal Break-In. You can join that, and if you feel more comfortable asking a question in a private group, feel free to do that. And that is it. So have a great afternoon, evening, and I will talk to you in the next live. Bye.